All right, nearly 9:15 on Friday morning. Delighted to have you along with us until 10 this morning. Phil Thompson, good morning to you.
Adrian, how are you, mate?
Flying it, thanks. The League Cup last night, penalties, Liverpool go out. Better off out of it?
It's never better off out of it. But the League Cup is probably the least of the priorities for not just Liverpool, but for any fan. But you'd always like to think, while we're in this mode, the way we are playing is that you would like to stay in every competition. It does bring its own burdens, as we've seen with Manchester City over the last couple of years. We're going to win the quadruple, and then, if we got one cup, we're going to win the treble, and it creates its own problems. But the League Cup's always been very good, certainly to me, back in my day, and I've quite enjoyed it. But I don't think Jurgen Klopp will be shedding too many tears. It was a game that we should have won. I don't know whether you've seen it or not, but Bernd Leno had a worldie and in goal, and you just get games like that. I've been wondering when we're going to get one of those in the Premier League, and it will be knocking at the door, and the keeper will make saves. So maybe we've just got it out of the way.
Yeah, we were. There was a bit of Irish European interest last night, Phil. So most of us just saw the penalty shootout, and that's all you needed to come for. Talk to us about Liverpool generally. I know when we've chatted to you before, we've talked about Liverpool's style. It's tweaked a little bit over the last couple of years, but by and large, teams know what they're getting. So a few games in, tough start against Leeds. How impressed have you been with this Liverpool team this season, and have you seen anything new about them?
I think when we were on a couple of weeks ago, we had a chat. Probably come to that, and I'll see how they are reacting. And it's mainly with the high line that they play. But it's been nothing short of sensational. Played very well. I know Chelsea went down to 10 men in the second half, but Liverpool were by far the best team in the first half. We were absolutely brilliant. We've got better. The Leeds game, yes, a little bit sloppy at times. You know, Mr. Keane likes to use that word. But I think since then, the Arsenal game was absolutely one of the best first halves. I think Gary Neville mentioned that. One of the best first halves he's ever seen. And for us sort of to go behind was a shock to everybody. I think it was the first time they got, never mind in our box in our half. But some of the football has been quite exhilarating. It really has. And you're looking and you're thinking, wow, can we keep this going? Particularly people were impressed after the Manchester City debacle against Leicester. But that's only a small blip for Manchester City, I'm sure to get. But Liverpool's form has been truly magnificent.
You've brought up Roy Keane, Phil. We're always reluctant to bring him up, but you brought him up now, so we better ask you a follow-up question on that. What did you make of the whole thing? Like, I mean, on one side of it, obviously, maybe you're just thoroughly encouraged by the fact that Klopp is sort of willing to so publicly and vociferously defend his team against, the might of Roy Keane.
Do you know what? It was great, Nick. It got a lot of back pages here, probably over there. It did do. And it's nice. We always love it. I think Keane's fantastic value on the television. One thing that I wouldn't agree with when he said about Eric Dyer, that was a nailed-on penalty when he had his back to the ball with Andy Carr. I thought, what was that? Are you sure you actually watched that incident? But I just think it got taken out of context. I think when Jurgen Klopp came to do his interview, and he's put his earpiece in, the first thing he said is Roy saying that he was a bit sloppy. And when I was watching it, I think we could all understand it was just that when Andy Robertson makes his rick, you go, that was a bit sloppy. And I think it was just then that Jurgen came in. And I think you could see Tino was a bit embarrassed. I think Jurgen had a little bit of a laugh later on because he said, I'll have to listen to it back to make sure. And it was. I think life is about timing. The timing was totally wrong there when Jurgen came into it. But Kino was full value. I love listening to him.
Probably speaks to a way that Jurgen Klopp plays and the way football has gone at the moment as well, Phil, that it is impossible to play football flawlessly when you're pressing at such high speed, attacking with incredible pace. Roy Keane in his day, obviously football was at such a played at a slower speed, and there was an easier ability to, I guess, achieve perfection within games. The way Liverpool play, there are going to be moments where they look a little bit ropey, but that's what comes from achieving such incredible things and trying to, I guess, cause that beautiful chaos that comes out on the pitch.
Yeah, well, let's go to that bit, what I'm saying, and if it is the sloppy bit, what Roy is saying, what happened when they had the counter-attack. People say Liverpool played this high line. It is the way and how the team functions best is you play the high line. Why I know about it is, back when we were playing, we had exactly the same problem. Not the same problem, because it worked. Goalkeeper, Ray Clements, sweeper, keeper. We pushed very high up. That was better for the team. People talked about Ian Rush as being the front line who started the defending. He wouldn't do that unless we were nice and tight, pushed up, the midfield pushed up. It helps. And I think this Liverpool team functions better with the high line. Yes, there's a risk to it, but sometimes that risk is worth taking. And I know because of, back in the day, how many goals we actually lost because of it was extremely minimal. So that cost, the risk, I think worked very much in your favour. So long may it continue, because it is the best way for Liverpool to play. And you do, as long, and we had this conversation a couple of weeks ago, as long enough, and I see the players reacting better. Once that ball gets kicked, you don't watch and you're not waiting for the flag. You react. You react. Once the ball's gone, then you follow it. And then, obviously, you're hoping that the linesman flag will go up, which sometimes it's not of late. But I think that is the best way for Liverpool to function if they carry on doing it.
What's in terms of the overall season, Phil? You were very early in, obviously, at this stage, and I'm sure. Let me ask you about Man United, because I'm sure you're not losing very much sleep at nights about United's troubles at the minute. But they have Spurs on Sunday. It's a game that's live on OTB, so we do want to sort of get your brain thinking about that one. They've been patchy, obviously. Fortunate against Brighton, couple of decent signings. Do they even look like a top 4 team at the minute for you, or no?
They are a top four team. Do they look at it at the moment? Probably not. And I think there's a lot of teams like this. I think they're probably away from home. As you've seen last week, and I think about it right, there was only Liverpool who won of all the home teams last weekend, which is quite phenomenal in Premier League football. That's the way it is, away from home. There's no advantage now. So I think Manchester United, because of the dysfunctional way this season got going, no pre-season, proper pre-season, I don't think a lot of teams have really settled down yet. You've seen what happened with Manchester City. Manchester United are no different. After the good finish last year, I think they're struggling to get things right again. And it's like anything. Everybody then starts pointing the finger at the manager. Is he good enough? Is he not good enough? They have to believe in him, and they have to give him a chance to get Manchester United back playing that sort of football and pushing for the Premier League title, because that's what we all know about Manchester United. But you're quite right. I'm not losing any sleep.
You might lose sleep if things turn around for them at some point soon. Look at it doesn't look all that likely at the minute, but we'll see how that plays out over the next while. So just in terms of Liverpool then, Phil, I mentioned we're not long into the season, very difficult to know at this stage, but there are good signs there. I mean, last night notwithstanding, and to be fair, it was obviously, with a couple of exceptions, by and large, a very young team that took to the pitch last night. Is your expectation on the body of evidence that you've seen so far that I know you think Liverpool are going to go and win the league, and I think, to be fair, most people do, but again, that the gap is only extending rather than compressing now?
Well, we could all see, we all thought that it was going to be a lot closer. We've seen everybody trying to improve their squads. I think teams will get better. We played Chelsea at a very good time. I think Chelsea will be strong. But I think you looked at it and you went, all the changes that they've made could work in our favour, Liverpool's favour, and it certainly did do. All the big boys will be there. Everton's been an interesting start for them. You know, they're looking quite strong, and we know if Everton, the players and the club, get confidence, they can really want to make an impact. They've been quite an interesting thing to me. Hopefully them, like Manchester United, don't continue on Everton's upward surge anyway. But I was they made a big statement with the League Cup the other night with the team that he actually played, Ancelotti. To me, Everton would always go, oh, well, we'll put the kids out if we go out. It's important we maintain our Premier League status. I think Ancelotti's gone, but somebody tapped him and went, you win a trophy with this side, you will have legendary status.
Phil, there's one other thing I wanted to get your take on. We had Kenny Cunningham on the show last Monday week. I'm sure you saw the comments. They kind of went wild online, actually. He was talking about Thiago Alcantara being weak defensively. But I just wanted to give you like the full breakdown of quotes here. No, I appreciate
Sorry, I'm just laughing. Go on. Sorry.
So just the full quotes in context, their squad is strengthened by Thiago's arrival for me, but they've spent £30 million on a third choice, number 6. I think he's inferior to Fabinho and Jordan Henderson in that role. That's why I'm surprised they brought him in. And, you know, the weak defensively thing is mentioned for sure, and he mentions a number of missed tackles in the game against Chelsea. But that has to come into the fact that, is there a reasonable argument that as a number 6, specifically as a number 6, is there a chance that Fabinho and Jordan Henderson may actually be picked ahead of Thiago?
No. Kenny, he's looking at this all wrong. You're talking about two players there who are different. Jordan Henderson's all about energy and he makes things happen. Fabinho he's very good in the air. He does what he does. Thiago, as a number 6, does what he does. He does what he does because he's won trophies, leagues at Barcelona. He's won trophies. He's won Champions League at Bayern Munich by playing the way that he plays. That is his role. That is the way he plays. If Kenny's wanting to say, oh, maybe he's not a tackler and you don't see him doing this, and he's not third choice, I'm sorry, but if there was an improvement to be made, it was somebody who could play in that role in there and move the ball forward a lot quicker. And the players that he's talking about there, Henderson and Fabinho, yes, they are very good at what they do, but they don't pass the ball forward like Thiago can do. And I think it has been one of those things which was, I think, there's not too many who could be a grade upwards for Liverpool. Thiago's done that. And I'll tell you something else. Diego Jota was another clever signing. He was very good. He was a Mane signing that you went, yeah, I've seen him there. And I know I'd listened to people and they were going, Jota, you know, they've paid 40 million. This boy is a very talented player. I did his games last season for Wolves and he was nothing short. And I was saying at the time, he could easily be playing for one of the big 4 teams.
Yeah, he's quality. Just to go back to the number 6s then, Phil. So Thiago's not third choice. So who are you dropping, Fabinho or Henderson?
No, he will play. I would think you could play with both of those players in the side. To me, there's still a thing. I love Wijnaldum, but to me, there's still a problem there with Wijnaldum. I think, to me, he's trying to leave for nothing at the end of the season, which is a worry for me. Because I don't think any teams can let players of his quality just leave for nothing. So that is a worry. And we'll have to see how that pans out. But I can see the 3 of those playing in there. But for me, Thiago plays all the time.
So he's instead of Wijnaldum then?
He's for me, he's if you want, instead of Wijnaldum, yeah. Right. I play Fabinho, Thiago and Henderson when all fit.
Kenny might have been onto something, Phil, is what you're saying.
Pardon?
Kenny might have been onto something. Because he was saying Kenny's point was about his defensive frailties is overstating it, but playing him a bit further up the pitch.
There's no defensive frailties in him, I'm afraid. You know, it gives him choices. He's just not like Fabinho. He's not like Henderson. He plays it. He's not a slide tackler. He's not one of these tough men like a Graham Souness in centre midfield. he does what he does better than most in European football. That's what you've got to look at. Not everybody's Fabinho, not everybody's Henderson. He's better than both of them, and that's why it's an upgrade on what we've done in the signing of him. So I think Kenny's got it totally wrong.
Okay, well, that's pretty clear. One last one just before, and I'm about to get shot by the producer, but one last one before we let you go, Phil. Ryan Brewster, it seems, is going. It's been rumoured for a while, but it looks as though he's off to Sheffield United now with a 3-year, Liverpool holding a 3-year buy-back clause. Is this good business? It's 23.5 million quid, we're told, to Sheffield United. Good business, or would you rather have seen him hang around?
Is this Ryan Brewster?
Yes.
I'll be sorry to see him go, I must admit. What Brewster has got, it's not just got an instinct for goals. He's a tough cookie as well. It looks as though he's hungry for it, which is a lot of players who don't. Young players come through, certainly strikers don't possess. You know, they have this nice bit of talent where they want to play. But I will be sorry to see him go. But I think we're trying to be clever with it and put a buyback clause in the contract, which gives us a little bit of a fallback on him. But I would rather keep him and let Origi go. That is the way I feel.
All right. Phil Thompson, thanks a million.
My pleasure. Cheers, guys. Take care.
Enjoy the football over the weekend. Phil Thompson there.